All right, what is up, everybody? So Shadow Scout 0013 here, coming in with a video on the GAV tank with Canadian Bear. We're going to go over a few different list ideas and talk about the GAV tank, and hopefully you guys are interested in it. I know that a lot of people don't really care for the GAV tank, but we're going to try to make it interesting and give you some ideas. First off, if you haven't headed over to the Discord, head on over there now and get a few ideas from the Empire list part of the Discord or any other list channels. If you are interested in the giveaway for the order tokens, all you have to do is head on over to the Discord to get extra ones by leveling up, and leveling up actually gets you more chances to win, as well as being a subscriber and leaving a comment, because these things are insane. There are 6 left, and 4 of them are in carts, which is amazing to see. I really love that you guys are loving these things, and I know that John, the guy who is at ComScan, absolutely loves them. And these things are the best order tokens in the galaxy, for real, no joke. And the high quality graphics and high quality feel for them, the weight of the order tokens, make these a perfect addition to any army and every list. You are going to look like a professional when you have these because of the graphics and because obviously they have a very cool logo on them. So I highly recommend them. If you want to order them, you can use Shadow Scout for 10% off. And I can't talk about these things enough. So head on over there to his Etsy, which will be in the description down below, and order some. But yeah, that is it, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the talk about the GAV tank. Oh, and also, real quick, before I forget, head on over to the Patreon. Here you're going to be able to help the channel grow and to help with the giveaways, as well as just help with help me making videos. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. It'll also get you extra entries in to win when you subscribe to a certain tier. But all right, yeah, back to the actual video. All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, coming in with Canadian Bear.
Hello.
And today we're going to go over the GAV tank and go over a few different list ideas, as well as just kind of like talk about the GAV tank itself and the many benefits that it actually does bring to the table. And with that, I will let Canadian Bear go ahead and take the floor.
Sure. So it is an Imperial ground vehicle. It is 125 points. Base. It's 8 wounds, 6 for its break value. It's red defense dice and speed 1, but it's an oblong base, so not so bad. It is armor 5, arsenal 2, reposition, and since it's a ground vehicle, that means that it can do a free pivot at the start and end of each move. It's a transport vehicle, and then it's got weak point 1 sides. It has 2 native guns. They are both fixed front. The first one is suppressive, range 1 to 2, 1 red, 1 black. The second one is impact 2, range 1 to 4, 2 reds, 2 blacks. And then it can take a comms upgrade, a pilot, and a or a hardpoint upgrade. That's what those are called. And yeah, so pretty much I've go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, the base itself is 175 millimeters, or about 6.8 inches, and so it's also going to move at 3 inches on top of that. So it's moving almost 10 inches when it does make a move.
Mm-hmm. And then, like the other oblong bases, this is one that on objectives like recover and bunker, it can touch 2 different points at the same time. So that's pretty big. Yeah, pretty much. I brought this idea up to you because I don't get entirely why the GAV gets so much hate. And then while building lists, I think I've come to the conclusion it's mostly, hey, what do you put with the GAV instead of necessarily the GAV itself?
Yes. No, I think the combinations of what to pair with it is really tough. I think that some of the units that Empire has is kind of like what do we put in there. I know that like at
Mhm.
least with you can put Black Sun, which really help a lot. You can put
Yeah.
the Riot Control Squad in there, even though there is kind of hit or miss with them usually. And then you can put the Special Forces in there. But what kind of Special Forces roll as many dice as a sleeper cell? Well,
Mhm.
maybe we can get close to like the Death Troopers and the Scout Troopers. So there are some options. It's just like what's the best, and the weak point sides make it a little tough, and the fact that it's only 2 red and 2 black, along with 1 red and 1 black if you're close enough. So possibly 3 red, 3 black, so 6 dice compared to the ATST putting out 9 dice, and having more health, even though it's white saves. But I think it's it just doesn't do enough output wise for me. Um,
Mhm.
Even though it's got pretty red saves is really good, and it might last a little bit longer than an ATST for sure. It's still got armor 5. It's just like you said, the maybe the pairings and what do you kind of put with it. But for me, it's more of the damage output is not quite there. But I know there are some like there's an upgrade a hard point upgrade that you can put on there. But even then, it's maybe 4 dice, 3 of them being white dice, and or 2 red. It's tough.
And here's just a quick comparison too. So if you put for the ATST and the GAV, if you're putting on a hard point on both of them and you're doing the twin light blaster on the ATST and the Pintle for range 1 to 4 and 1 red 3 white, you're looking at 149 points for the GAV and 165 for the ATST. For what is that? Sorry, 3 reds, 3 whites, 2 blacks for the GAV, and then triple rainbow for the ATST. They are both surge to hit in this case because they both have the elite armor pilot. Uh, I don't know if there's really that much of a difference at that point because you're missing out on 1 black is really the only difference, and you're saving uh, what is that, 16 points between the two.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, but you've also got like a weirder firing arc. I'll give you for the Gav because it's not as tall, so we can't see up and over buildings. But
Yeah. And is it narrower? The front arc maybe a tiny bit narrower.
maybe. But the ATST base is not as wide as like the Saber or the um,
ISP maybe, or the snail tank
yeah, because it's smaller than the ISP base
AAT.
also,
Okay.
and smaller than the AAT as well, and um, so they might actually be pretty close as far as like actual firing arcs. It's just what they can see would be the difference.
So
Uh,
then, do you take the Gav tank as more of a like transport and defense since it's high enough to block line of sight?
yeah, and that's one thing that we should go over real quick. I don't know if you have the picture that you can pull up from.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me
Yeah,
try to pull
Eric,
that up real quick. Uh, where
but
where was it? Empire.
because the Gav is an awkward vehicle, and it doesn't look like it should necessarily because it's got that big divot in the back. Um, so long, the vehicle silhouettes operate like our new area terrain silhouettes, where so whatever the highest point is determines the height of the silhouette that blocks line of sight. So long as one part that is part of the actual hull of the GAF tank blocks line of sight, the entire thing blocks line of sight.
Okay. And then after that, yeah, you don't have to have the crates in there for it to block line of sight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, 'cause had him post a picture next to a silhouette, and since the cabin, I guess we can call that, or the pilot's cockpit section, I don't know what to call that, blocks line of sight, then everything does. So,
Okay.
yeah. So that was good, because I wasn't sure. It was always right on the edge if it did or not.
Right. So yeah, I guess it will make sure to block the entirety of your line of sight.
hmm
Okay.
uh, so yeah, you can do pretty much any tactic that you can think of, as far as like base wise, with the more so with the snail than the AA5. You could do with the GAV. The AA5 is a little bit different just because its guns that you can put on it are not locked to the front arc, whereas both the snail and the GAV are, no matter what. Well, actually, no, the Pintle gun, the top guns are not locked to the front at least, which is nice.
Yes.
So the GAV is the happy medium, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
I mean,
But yeah.
I like it. I'll have to start experimenting more with it. I know that a while ago I tried to play a Veers Gav tank, and it's nice with guidance
hmm
to move that Gav tank even more, especially into like any kind of position you definitely need. Because then you can like aim and shoot, and then you can guidance the move a little bit more. And with it
hmm
being so big, it can do a nice job of blocking that line of sight. Even though the sides are still predominantly giving you that your opponent that extra impact one.
hmm
Um, Doing a standby on it isn't too bad. Um, Now, let's see. The which gun do you want to take?
Um, I was only ever putting the Pintle gun on it just because it's 4 points cheaper, and it's, even though they're white dice, it's two more dice overall. Um, they're both range 1 to 4, so range isn't really a consideration. It's just a matter of, do you want to go from impact 2, or do you want to stay at impact 2, or do you want to go to impact 3, I guess. Would be the big consideration.
Okay.
And is that worth 4 points? Is getting two reds, or a second red instead of three whites, and getting impact 1, is that worth 4 points?
Um. Well, I think that we're
I
seeing
don't
a lot more armor out, so maybe.
know. Maybe.
So having that impact 3 could be a lot better. And
Mm-hmm.
there are chances for natural crits too, but I think maybe that extra impact 1 can add a lot to it. I guess it just depends if you're bringing other DLTs in the form of like stormtroopers. If you're bringing any of
Mm-hmm.
those, then you might not need it necessarily because maybe you want the damage output. And speaking of damage output, then pilots, we can maybe talk about the pilots. I know that there are several different pilots you can add to it. General Vice can be a field commander for you and give you Arsenal 4 altogether, but the Gav tank only has 2 guns there, and then you can add a gun. So you would have Arsenal 3. So that could technically
Yeah.
bring your dice pool up really, really high, especially if you had the RT97C, which is the red and 3 black. So if we just take a look at it real quick, that is 4 red, 3 black, 3 white, all in one shot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Which is solid.
yeah. At least field commander can help a lot because then it's got a pretty
Yeah.
big base for courage bubble for courage 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
you've got Governor Price on there who can give out a free aim and suppression. Sadly, though, the crappy thing about this is that you can't guidance that because it's a free action.
Mm,
If it was a
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I was gonna say if you could guidance that to do give out an aim, then that would be so much better. That would increase your range of being able to hand out name magnificently,
Yeah.
or exponentially, I should say, really. But yeah, I think she can be okay. Because if anything, you can guidance a move forward, and then now you have the ability to go with the tank and then hand out the free aim. Uh, have you taken her before?
I have not. I'm still upset that with the changing to excuse me, the current edition, they didn't make her suppression optional like everyone else's. So that's kind of eh, especially with how impactful suppression can be now.
Oh yeah. Um,
But
maybe I guess certain units could benefit from it. Maybe like scout troopers if they can get suppressed to get that extra cover, then
maybe
could help. If it was if you were playing the pikes, if you paired the pikes with it, then giving them that suppression could help their defense. So maybe if
hmm
you wanted to bring pikes in your list, giving them the suppression and an aim could help because then they're already getting dodges, and then now they can move and not have to aim and shoot. So at least
true.
maybe that's the only unit maybe that Empire really wants to have an extra suppression on. I guess anyone with Courage 3, so like maybe Iden or Inferno
You could
Squad.
do it to um the Duveks because they've got relentless. Now they're not having to take an aim, so they can double move and possibly even just stay at speed ones instead
Yeah,
and get a little bit further than doing a single speed two and taking an aim.
true.
But
The ATS, if you give it to the ATST, you could give it to the Dark Troopers because does it specifically say trooper unit? Yeah, oh, friendly trooper unit.
it's
Okay, so the
yeah,
darks, you can give it to the darks. That would be good. Um, I guess if you paired it with any of the IGs, IG 88 or IG 11, suppression really doesn't matter that much. And yeah, I feel like besides Inferno or something like that, those are probably the only ones you're gonna want to hand out that aim to. And then we've got the pilots. You're probably going to be bringing more than likely is the Imperial Hammer's Elite Armor Pilot to give you that surge to hit.
not first sergeant Arb Mab,
Right. So
the
I was gonna,
tactical one.
yeah, I was gonna bring him up last because I was like, this is a mention that we really don't need, but I guess it's something to talk about. So I guess the Arb Mab, First Sergeant Arb
Such an
Mab.
awesome name.
Yeah, I know, right? Giving you tactical one. I guess since it's a very mobile game now at the moment, it could be good. That way, at least
hmm
you can still your action economy goes up. So like you don't have to spend the action to move or aim. You can do both. And with the GAV tank having a range 1 to 2 weapon, which you're gonna want to take advantage of because it's also suppressive, and um, that's it. That's it. Oh,
Yeah, I could possibly see an argument if you're taking the DLT weapon instead of the Pental to take him, because then you're only having to worry about the. You're probably only having to worry about the black dice anyways, and you're not rolling any white dice. So the surge versus an aim probably doesn't make too much of a difference.
right.
And then it's like, hey, it's a point cheaper. If you really needed to save points, but again, that's only a one of also. Uh,
I guess
yeah,
if you guidance a move, it's a free aim. So now you've been able to move
Yeah.
again without having to do anything, and then you could second move to get a little bit
Hmm.
closer, and then now you've generated two aims, and so I guess you don't necessarily have to have that surge, and I guess it depends on the gun that you have.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not the worst. It's just it's so niche. Like the fact that you
It
have to
is.
do these very situational things, or if it's like you know bunker assault or research or shifting something like that, it could be really good because then at least you're still
Hmm.
moving and generating aims. But um, yeah, I don't know. I think it could be okay, but you have to pair them with veers. Like I feel like there's a give and take here. It's like you can't just have the ARB mab. You have to have veers with them. With the General Vice, I don't really think it matters because at least that's three weapons you're getting, and then Governor Price, you can't guidance it, so you don't have to have veers. And then the Imperial Hammers pilot, and you're always just taking that in general. You don't have to pair it with anything. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I guess, you want to go over a few list ideas that we've had?
yeah. I'll let you go over the list that you made with Krennic and Veers.
Sure. So it's 12 activations. Krennic has strict orders. Virus is improv. Uh, this was my first iteration of trying to figure out something to go with the GAV after looking through the unit roster and realizing, so, why pick Empire units to go in the GAV when you can put some mercenaries? And I did two Black Suns, both have Vigos, one Scatter, one Magnet with a frag, and then three Naked Storms, and then triple Dewback with T-21s and Into the Fray. And then again, it's two Gavs with the lead Hammer Pilot and the Pintle. Um, so yeah, it's it's essentially do what everyone else does is throw the Gav up the board, pop the Black Sun out, hide behind the Gav, and then they can pop out and then nuke something, hopefully. And even if like it is kind of a a non-vo because you're having to give the Black Sun order by being in the Gav so they don't get independent. But if you can, depending on what um, card you give out, you can for turn one and like who gets orders. So long as you give Veers an order, he can pop out and give them both an Abe before they actually activate, since they'll have order control on the Black Suns, so they're only missing out on the Surge that turn. But yeah, there's some potential there.
Yeah, I like the Black Suns getting all up in there with the amount
Hmm.
of dice that they throw. I think it's uh, almost just as good as the sleeper cells because of the fact that they're getting an aim and they've got the surge to crit at that point when they're at
Hmm.
range one,
Yeah.
um, and then the extra surge that they already have with the Black Sun Vigo. That's
Hmm.
going to be really good. And then the dewbacks are always going to be amazing to have in a list. Um,
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Gav does not block line of sight for the Dewbacks, unlike the other two units, but it at least blocks it for the Black Suns, which is hopefully enough.
yeah. Sorry. Yes, I totally agree with you on that one. I think that at least the dewbacks are going to be rushing in a little bit more and
Hmm.
aren't going to be hanging back anyway. Yeah. Let's see. I will try the Darth Vader one. So
Sure.
we've got General Veers with improvised orders. We've got Darth Vader with burst, push, into the fray, and tenacity. You've got Shore Troopers with Gideon Hask, mostly for that Courage 2, and then you can coordinate a Core Trooper anyway. You also get the two red dice, which is nice. Then you've got another Shore Trooper unit with the Officer, again for that Courage 2, and now Inspire, so it kind of helps you with their suppression. You've got a Stormtrooper unit with the T-21 and the Stormtrooper Specialist. That way you can get that free aim when you need, especially getting off of the GAV tank. 2 mortars, mostly for that free fire support, that free standby, so that way you can possibly put up to 4 suppression on any unit. And then you've got 3 dewback riders. One's got Into the Fray and the flame rifle. 2 of them have the RT-97 with tenacity. And then you've got the GAV tank with onboard's comm channel, the DLT, and Governor Price, so that you can hand out that aim to the dewback riders if they need it, or to any of the shore troopers because of long shot. Yes, they get that suppression, but at least that's why they're Courage 2, is to help make sure that that suppression's not going to hinder them. They can still take another aim, and then they get 1 for a long shot, 1 to reroll. So that's actually pretty helpful. And then you could take the onboard's comm channel off and put HQ uplink on the dewback rider because of Vader's new ways to motivate them, because it's 2 trooper units. So I just wasn't sure if you wanted to, how expensive you wanted to make the dewback riders, and I'm not exactly too sure of it. It's just flavor. So onboard comm channel or HQ uplink. It's 10 points. It's 11 activations. Still 1,000 points. So it's still got a lot of good potential, and the mortars are pretty up high. If they're blocked by the GAV tank, they can still see over it. And the shore troopers are, very slow, but at least they're already on the board where you need them to be. And then the stormtroopers can get transported farther forward if you need. And then Darth Vader doesn't have to have infiltrate. He can, just play it to get the reliable 2, so then he's always got 2 surge tokens, and then Into the Fray just to give him more. And then Veers can always guidance the tank to aim or move or standby, any of those things. So, and hand out even more aims to the shore troopers.
Yes. Do you have a question, though, about this list? Where are you guys? There you are. Oh, okay, that's good. The mortars have prepared positions natively on their card. Because what is it? It's detachment, which these things do also have that on there, but detachment gives you whatever that one has, you're detaching from has. So I was concerned that if you put them in the GAV, or the shores in the GAV, they weren't going to get prepared positions on the mortars.
Okay.
But since they have it on the mortar card, okay, we're all good.
Yes.
I was like, oh no. Having to walk mortars onto the board would be so sad.
Yeah, you're telling me. No, yeah, the fact that they've got the prepared positions really helps, and the fact that they've changed, the detachment where you don't have to make it a speed 1 away from the unit leader that they're detaching from is really, really nice. So now they can deploy anywhere. I usually deploy them up high, because then it also makes them targets rather than the other units that I need not to be targets. And then they've also got full range for that mortar to kind of to go through. And
and they can poke over the GAV too.
Yep.
Nice. I like
it. Yeah, thanks. You've got your Iden version.
Yes. Which I'm liking more and more that I look at it.
Okay.
Tack Strike, turn 1, with 5 units getting steady and Tactical 1 sounds pretty nice.
Yeah. Explain that.
So I'll go over the list first, because then it'll make more sense as how I'm getting 5 things. So it's Iden with Improv and ID10, Krennic with Strict Orders again, Snows or Storms, whatever your flavor of the month is. But they're both naked, or they're all naked. You've got Inferno Squad just with Dell and Gideon. 2 Death Troopers, one with the DLT and Recon Intel, one with DTF-16. A full scout with Sonic Charge Saboteur and frag grenades. Uh, and then 4 Special Forces because we've got Krennic to get the extra Death Trooper. And then 2 GAV tanks, again, Fleet, Armor Pilot, and Pintle Gun. But pretty much the idea being that you could do Tack Strike on turn 1. You can give an order to Iden. You give an order to Iden because the card said so. You give one of the orders to Krennic to get your commanders out of your pool. You give the other order from the card to Inferno, which can coordinate to a Snow Trooper. Krennic would entourage one of the Death Troopers, so they get an order, and then your DTF-16 and Scout Trooper would get orders from riding in the GAV tanks. So all your special forces have order tokens, one of your core has order tokens, and then both your commanders have order tokens. And pre-show, we did a little mathing in
Well,
TTS.
and did you by? Oh, never mind. With Inferno Squad though, if they've got an order, they can coordinate to a.
Yeah, it's one of the snows.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just to
That's
get one of the other order out. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Otherwise, unfortunately, that's the only thing. So your bag on turn 1 is 2 snows and 2 GAV tanks. And yeah, before the show, we did a little bit of math, which, so if you're giving order to or if you're deploying a scout normally, if it's doing a speed 3, if you are doing Tack Strike especially, it is, but either way, slightly. Because it was, you do the speed 3 move and then you do a speed 2. That's about the same as doing the deployment off of a full speed 1 GAV move and then doing the speed 1 deployment move. So in that case, then, not that you get an aim from deploying off of the GAV with your new tactical 1, but you would then get 2 speed 1 moves after your first free speed 1 move, and that would get you pretty far. And I think we had it to where it was just 4 inches off of the edge of the board, so unless they did a speed 1 onto the board, or less, I think it's slightly less than a speed 1 off of the edge of the board, with including the base, you were getting shots off on turn 1, which is range 2 shots. And then, yeah, so it's a lot. And, you got range 4 with the other Death Trooper that's reconning onto the board. It's got 3 aims now. Inferno's infiltrating onto the board, and then it can steady and tactical. Iden's infiltrating, steady tactical. And then you can throw the GAVs out there, and they can block line of sight on all of your troopers. So no return fire unless you want it.
Yep. And then you've got Inferno Squad to heal 2 wounds off that tank if you turn it into block line of sight, even though they'll get that weak side, but you're still going to wind up throwing red dice and repairing it at least that round probably. So.
Yeah. And if you want to do like split firing, because you're gonna have a bunch of different like weapon options also, like so long as you kind of stack up a little bit, you can then, if you really want to, go into Annihilation Looms turn 2 and drop 2 more suppression on everybody.
That's just
and
mean.
Just insult to injury. I mean, the Empire isn't known for being sunshine and rainbows.
Nope, not at all. just oppressive.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that
Seems
combo with Annihilation Looms afterwards.
mm,
And you've got some decent long range in there between Inferno Squad
mm,
and the Death Troopers and Iden.
mm,
And then
yeah.
the Gav tank has range 4.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of hanging back if you need to.
I
You lose.
imagine this could also get better too once the new objective deck comes out,
Hmm.
which is supposed to be more long range focused, anyways. So,
Okay. RF Troopers finally shining soon.
just in time for marksman.
Yes. No, exactly. Um, that'll be another video that I'll be excited about to
Yes.
go over. But yeah, okay. We can talk about the final list. I've got
Hmm.
a version of Iden, probably not as good, but I'll talk about it. It's got Iden Versio with the old hunter. It's so weird saying on the hunt. I don't know,
I know.
like I just want to say hunter because it makes it simple, but on the
Hmm.
hunt.
Thanks,
OTH.
Bad Batch.
Yeah, right. Thanks a lot. I'm just gonna say OTH on the hunt. That sounds
Yeah.
cooler in a way, I guess. But yeah, Iden Versio with OTH, got the Secret Droid and Emergency Transponder. You've got Veers with Improvised and Electro Binoculars. You've got a Snowtrooper with the Flamer. You've got a Black Sun Enforcer with the Magdet, Vigo, Prepared Supplies, and Frag Grenades. You've got 2 Stormtroopers with the DLT. You've got Inferno Squad. You've got 3 Dewbacks. All of them have Tenacity. One's got the Flamer, and 2 of them have the RT-97C. And then you've got 1 Gav tank with General Vice and the RT-97C. So, again, I have General Vice on there to shake things up a little bit because your opponent's probably not going to be expecting it, number 1. And number 2, I wanted to kind of go with more damage output
Hmm.
with that RT-97C. So that way, each shot, if you're at least at range 2, will have 4 red, 3 black, and 3 white. You're not surging, so you're definitely hoping that Veers is giving out an aim to them, and or they're taking an aim. So maybe you electro binoculars the aim with Veers, and then you guidance them up. So now they've at least taken a move, and then you can aim, get a second aim, and then shoot. And you're rolling a ton of dice. So if not, you can always go with Price or Arb Mab that we've talked about because that's an extra 5 points. And or if you wanted to put like OTH on the Inferno Squad, you could take away like prepared supplies off of the Magdets, and maybe Emergency's Transponder is not so needed. That would give you 9 extra points. So then you can either add that to get the actual Hammers pilot or OTH on Inferno Squad. But I feel like the three dewbacks are at least going to be helpful in melee. You've got some decent ranged 4. You've got 2 flamers. You've got a Black Sun Enforcer unit, and then Iden can be that long range as well. 11 activations again, so at least we're trying to stay above 10.
Hmm.
And yeah, not as order great as yours because everything's going to be hungry for orders, especially
Hmm.
Veers, but and Iden, and no Vader 2-pip to motivate the dewbacks, but yeah, I figured it was something
Yeah.
a little bit different for the Gav tank.
No, for sure. Yeah. Awesome. I think it's funny that you focused on doing one Gav and I focused on doing double Gav.
Yeah, no, I think I mean that's great because I've only got 1 Gav, so in my head I just think about 1, and
That's fair. I have
2.
0.
So you have those big dreams. You've got
Yes.
the 2 Gavs. Like I'm gonna go big, go hard. Uh, did you do you watch Joe Rogan at all?
Every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Did
Mostly
you?
clips and stuff.
Okay. There was something like I saw some clips going around of Oz Perlman. I think he was one of the guests on there. He's a
Okay.
mentalist, I guess, as a magician
Oh, I
mentalist
think I know what
guy.
you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean that episode was pretty good. He definitely got Joe several times on like
Hmm.
to just like jaw dropping, like how did you do that? You're a witch, burn him, kind of deal. Um,
Yeah.
and I think, um, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so he was making a prediction on something, trying to get Joe on his pin code, and he was like, yeah, guys usually inflate things, or guys usually go bigger, you know, on everything they say, and so I was like, you've got 0, but you're going for two GAVs. It's a random far out there analogy, but I just finished watching
I
it,
get
so
it.
it was in my head, and
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
that's the GAV tank. I feel like, yeah, you say that it's gotten a lot of hate. Um, I mean I can see why, but at the same time, it's not like a bad unit. It's
Hmm.
just, to me, it's not as effective, but you can make it effective depending on what you want to do with it. Because I think that's kind of fun to do with lists, is to kind of just see what people are not taking, maybe take it and see if we can and make it worth it, make it good.
Hmm.
And I think the two Gav tanks can at least soak up a lot of damage. And with your first list, with the two Gav tanks and the two Black Sun units, as well as the three dewbacks, really makes it hard to figure out what you really want to go after, because there's lots of threats there. And with the second one, you've got a lot of firepower with two Gav tanks and all your special forces and Iden. And then with mine, it's just random. Let's just, dewbacks, Vader, and then hopefully some suppression and a lot of
Hmm.
Courage 2 units. All your units are Courage 2, actually, in that one, just to make sure you're not panicked fairly easily.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's always fun theory crafting.
Yeah. Well,
But
I think I think that's really it. I don't know if there's anything else on the Gav tank that you wanted to kind of throw out there.
uh, I don't, not on the GAF, but there was a little like news thing today was that they put out their like teaser things to like say, hey, get ready for the card packs are coming out because they did one for Empire and Rebels earlier today.
Oh, okay.
So they're coming. They're almost here.
I know, right? I think I was doing a video with Voidwalker on here, and we were pulling up the roadmap and trying to look at all the different stuff for Shadow Collective that's coming out, like with the the tank, the speeder
Hmm.
tank, whatever that one is, with the pirates, and
Yep.
um, yeah, the Weequay pirates. God, I cannot think of it. And the card
Yeah.
essential packs is coming out in Q3, and we're about to hit Q3, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. I think. Um, when does Q3
Yeah.
start?
Let's see. See. Begins in July.
Next month. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Which that would be awesome if that were the case, and then like we stick with the whole August September thing was what people were theorizing for the starter sets.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
And I think the customizable officers and stuff come out in Q3.
Yeah, they come out the same time as the their relevant starters.
Ah, nice. Okay, good. Because Empire's definitely missing that. And who knows? Hey, maybe the Gav tank will get even better with a customizable commander.
That yeah.
Maybe there could be extra command cards or extra abilities that, I don't know, could help it.
Yeah. All right, actually, okay. There is one thing about the GAF before I forget.
Okay.
I wish AMG had left some little cutout for the eWeb to still be allowed to just sit in the back.
Yes.
just for the veterans. It didn't have to be good, but just an option.
Right? Hey, maybe it could be an upgrade. Maybe it could be that instead of like a generator, maybe it could just be like, we're plugging up to the GAV tank instead.
Uh, yeah. No
Just
extra dice, but you still get suppressive.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
I mean,
that's not good. We know it's not good, but we want it. We
yeah.
just want the option again. That was such a cool thing
And it
to see.
it
Even
was
to
for
have done to you, it was like, oh, that's awesome.
right, and they only allowed it for like a small. It was only good for like a small amount of time. I feel like
Yep.
it didn't last long.
No.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good GAV tank episode. Hopefully, if there's any ideas out there, they can post them in the comments down below, or even
Mhm.
comment them in the Empire chat on Discord.
Yeah.
But all right,
Awesome.
yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and I know that we've had a great time. Thank you, Canadian Bear, for joining us.
Always.
And yeah, and we'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace out.
Later.